every culture, there are practices that exist for which those societies celebrate life cycle transitions, perpetuate community cohesion, or transmit traditional values to successive generations. Uganda has a legal framework for child protection, but many children are still abused. They are sexually, physically, and emotionally abused all the time, and in most cases with impunity. The violence and abuses takes place in all settings: homes, schools, the communities in which they live, on the road, and institutions where they socialize or pray. These abuses range from cultural practices and constructive community norms and values. These affect child survival because they infringe on their rights. The abuses have caused many children to drop out of school. Although others persist, their performance declines, while those who insist remain in psychological and mental torture.
Some children have been beaten seriously. Some of them ran away from home. They are in the street up to now. Some parents give children many works to do.
Then they even start bringing up stories which you have not done. They talk about you, your family, where you come from, that it is ever dirty. When even by the door there is a sewage. There is a sewage, the toilet there, and a rubbish pit over there. So that affects the child mentally. She or he will always be stressed thinking about that. But
in this research, we talked to 20 primary school teachers and 135 pupils from 4 primary schools in Wakiso and Kampala districts. The choice of sample was based on urban and rural setup. The children in the urban setup experience violence differently compared to those living in a rural setting. At Good Times Primary School, Ngalamie in Nangabo Sub-County, Wakiso District, the pupils say they experience violence at home, along the way, and while at school.
He goes there to drink alcohol. He spends money from there, and the child sit at home. He tells a child, dig and you get school fees when a child is too young to do all those works.
My father was the one who wanted me to do not come to school. He told me that fresh water in the evening in the morning up to the evening.
When the mother or the father left divorced from the family, and he went and he goes in drunken groups, and the mother starts working only one. For example, when she's a teacher, they don't pay in time, and she get loans. When the loans she can't pay in time, and they can arrest her, and the child do not get school fees in time.
Kola ne jajja wange nga ntunda amandaazi kuba mulwadde asobole okufuna ssente okugenda mu ddwaliro.
Kati bw'oba obikola ddi ssaawa y'okusoma obeera ludda wa?
Mbeera ku ssomero. Anti baatuleetera omukozi yagakanda n'agasiika nze ne ndeeta ne ngatunda.
I want you to tell me, what had you done when you were punished?
Kubeera nga ntuuse leeti.
What makes you come late?
Emirimu gy'ewaka giba mingi.
Bankubana nti nali nzanyira mu kiraasi nga njogerera mu kiraasi. Bankuba.
Kati ekyo kyakutaataaganya kitya mu kusoma?
Nga nti omusomesa nga paying attention. Asiwayo answer nga ntuula kutuuzaawo nsirisi. Biyinza okulinnya nga katugeze ng'oli mu ssomero ne bikulinnya ne bigamba nti neera bazadde bo tebaatuuka eyo gy'oli naawe tolina kusoma P7 kati katugeze ng'omugenda kukola LE kati ne bikulinnya nga mutuuse eri gye mugenda okukolera ne bikulinnya.
Our parents couldn't know that we come to school. We go back home at exactly 6. You can go back home at 6 and no matter start quarreling that you are lying or from praying with your friends. Tomorrow you are not going to get school, and they tell you, don't you stay here because yesterday was praying, and you start home, and the next day you come to school, and you expect from school. They start saying that you escape from school, and the teacher canes you, or they can give you a suspend. You spend a whole week without coming to school.
The teachers and school head teachers say that many of the challenges are a result of peer influence.
The side of those children, for us as teachers, we can make them to ignore the school or to drop out of the school in the way that some teachers we are harsh. You can abuse a child, telling a child what you know about their home. You know that those ones, they are poor, they do this, so you come here to school, you start abusing them, telling them such things. So that child can say, oh, I'm tired of the school because of that teacher. That teacher knows me very well.
Side of the slow learners, there are those slow learners that they need a little bit of counseling, and you may find that the teachers are not doing it to them. So these kids, and they are evil on them, that there's nothing you can do. You can't even answer a single question.
Instead of at least giving a punishment which he or she can afford, you can tell that child that go and slash this way from here up to there. Then that child will remain thinking about that thing. So that can let that child to say, tomorrow I'm not going back. I did not even finish the thing which teacher told me to do.
There must be communication. If you communicate well to these pupils, they also respond in the appropriate way. Sometimes these pupils become stubborn because the teacher is so rigid. He doesn't want to understand the situation. But still, these pupils need a lot of guidance.
Being a teacher, I should give the punishment, because if I don't give the punishment, this child will not know that what he or she has done, it is wrong. Because I'm a parent, I don't feel okay, but it is a must that I should guide this child to grow when he's growing in a good direction. Not
one of the biggest problem which deprive these people from coming to school or having an idea of coming to school is lacking role models in their communities. The social setup in the community simply make it difficult for people to emulate the elders.
The girls, for them, they have a chance of going and marry, but for the boys, they remain at home making bricks, go in mining, stones. But the girls, for them, they get early marriage because for them they have a chance of getting men.
It brings misunderstanding. How? Because you can say that boys, they are the one supposed to do what? To fetch water. And the girls are supposed to cook what? Food. Yet indeed, even a boy can do what? Can do the other work. So also it brings a problem. Parents are doing it. How? Because when they see that they don't have enough money which can educate this like a girl child. So for them what they do is to prepare their girls for the what? For the marriage.
But actually, poverty is the main reason why pupils drop out of school. They don't get food, they don't get requirements, scholastic requirements, and they move long distances. For example, if I can take border riding as a new culture in our community, a border man can pass by a child 3 times moving to school. The border man moves. By the time he meets the same girl the 3rd time, she will tell her to get on the what? On the cycle, and that will be the end of it.
That to be done what? To be circumcised. So they end up their rights being done what? Abused, violated, and they end up just looking for them, bringing them back away home. When they are fearing the other circumcision which is going to take place.
And if someone is not good academically, we totally lose that person, because for us at school, we think about the academic part of coming to school. We teach them to pass the exams, yet there are other talents we have to get from these kids. And if these talents are nurtured, these kids will like coming to school.
Kyambogo Primary School is located in Banda, Nakawa Division, Kampala District. The pupils here come from a relatively urban setup. They narrate their experiences on issues that affect them.
People used to say that the men are the head of the family, and it was affecting the girls, whereby girls were not going to school and the girls were denied the right to go to school.
Parents die, or your mother dies when your father remains. When your father gets another woman, that will be your stepmother. They start restricting her. They force the girls to get married to bring money back. Like when they fail to get money for some other things, so they force the girl to go and get money. The Wasebeli culture, they circumcise girls before marriage. Like when you are walking on your way coming to school, then someone finds you, just cover your face and put you like in the car and goes with you. That's how it is.
In climate 6, we walk long distance in cycle-education, which can cause problems to girls. Some girls, like for us in P6, we are alive rate. Now, some girls go, they move, they live 5. Others are from Kasoko, so they are from Tungo.
Friendship is the name of lawyer. Joining peer groups can make you stay away from school.
Bad peer groups like of girls can tell you that let us go to boys and get money.
I was a girl in P7. She had bad peer groups. And then she got pregnant and she stopped learning. Now she's at home, pregnant.
Called Kemgisa. I was still in P4. That friend always likes working with boys, and one day when we were in class, she came and told me, Brenda, I am hungry, and for me I told him I don't have money. The friend told me that for me I have gone. My friend went there in the bush. There was a boy, and my friend called me that Brenda, for me I have gone for a short call, and they said let me escort you. When I went there, I found them. They were doing their things, and I called my friend. My friend refused, and I called the teacher. The teacher went and saw them. After he came and told me, Brenda, is that your friend? And I said yes. My friend after came, and my friend said, Brenda, I have finished to eat. And for me, I asked him, what have you eaten?
Once again, my name is Timbo Angela. Things which affect our studies in the school, peer groups and teenage pregnancy. Let me explain. The peer group influence you to go and have boyfriends, go and have some, and you tell them, buy for me this, buy for me, and after they tell you, give me what you have because me, I gave you what I had. But I don't think every child with disability out there receives the services which I get. But I think when we get out and advocate for others, the services they'll get the services, and whereby the children with disabilities also can be some good people in the future.
Teachers from Kyambogo Primary School explained that in an urban setup, the children are not accustomed to traditions of their society, although society tends to hold them accountable to some cultural beliefs, norms and values.
Some are home-based, others could be school-based. Reason. When you look at the domestic factors, we have issues of families that still have younger children born and then they don't have babysitters. So children become a resource, the labor force.
And there is also, we have some children who are parents, like they take care of themselves, they take care of the family. You find this child is a parent at home, but is also a student.
There are some societies which still look at the girl child as somebody who should not go for education. And in most cases, they remain at home to carry babies, they remain at home to do domestic work. Seasonal functions, like when I take an example of my sisters from Valley, there is a season for circumcision, whereby parents tend to carry the children back to their villages if it is that year of circumcision. So that also affects their coming to school.
Separation of both parents. These days it is too common. Mommy has left daddy, has got married to another man, and left the children here. Another woman has been married. When he comes, some of them they come envious. They don't give a chance to these children they are found in the home to go to school.
Some hindrances, like if a child went to a school where they only say English is the only language that should be used at school. If this child has just come from the village, maybe the child is in P3, he only knows his mother tongue or Ateso or Lukiga. So the child joins P3 here in maybe Kyambogo, and we have said it is only English.
The pupils at Naguru Katale Primary School come from a very challenging environment, Naguru slums. In their explanation, the pupils say they are more exposed to sexual violence, substance abuse, and peer influence.
Alcoholism, like when the parents, both of them drink, come back, fight, beat the children.
About the divorce of parents. If the parents divorce, for example, if a mother goes away from the home and leaves the father, or the father chases away the mother and leaves the children at home and you stay with your father, the father can get another woman, and the woman comes.
And the things that the traditional belief that we have at home that leads to violence against children is child sacrifice. I'm talking about child labor. Child labor, children experience this when they live with their stepmothers especially. Now, like if you come back from school, they can't give you food, and they tell you, like you are 8 years, they tell you to go and fetch water of two jerrycans, 20 liters. Corporal punishment done by the teachers. The teachers may have some child who he doesn't like in class, he always talk about you, abuse you. And the other thing, the bad thing the teachers do is there is what we call psychological violence.
Cultural beliefs. Where I come from, Kapchora, some other clans believe that circumcising girls is a part of getting also children married, but that's not the fact. The fact that you might circumcise a girl, again that's infecting them with other diseases.
I'm going to talk about indiscipline among some children. Indiscipline can also cause child abuse, like when you are at home with your parents and your mother tells you, wash for me utensils, and you refuse.
When the child, the teacher beats you and he also tells you your parents are drunk, they drink alcohol, they don't pay for your school fees, you come late at school, that can affect the child and he can not perform well in class. And the other thing is menstruation period. Like the girl she's in her menstruation period, but instead of people encouraging her, even the teachers most times laugh.
I'm going to talk about what can lead to poverty and witchcrafts. Some parents can believe that when you go to a witch doctor, you can get riches. Then they start taking their goats, chickens, so that they get riches. Instead of selling them and they get money, they take you to school.
Some parents believe that if they go to the witch doctors can give them the basic needs they want. But instead the witch doctor will tell them, like your most child you love, the witch doctor will say, kill for me your last born and bring for me the blood and you will be rich. And the parent will do so. Maybe the last born is in P7 and he kills.
These children emphasize that there is persistent sexual abuse.
The previous year, there is a child who was raped, that she was in from our school. The parents sent her to go and sell maize. She ended up, they got her when they've already raped her at Kololo.
The indisciplined teachers and some pupils, and some teachers, like the teachers, children, they start like bad touches by the teachers and pupils. You can see the girl can sit there when the teacher calls you, come on my desk, I want to tell you something. He or she starts telling you bad things that can put you in a mood of having sex. It starts touching your private parts, and that is.
They are not only teachers, even boys. Yes, they touch your private parts, even the buttocks, even my private parts, but not you only, even the breasts. And when you get pregnant, me as a girl, I fear to tell my parents that I'm pregnant, because I know when I talk, they'll even beat me. When the boy starts touching your private parts, sometimes you feel good. And you want it to be repeated every day. And you even don't tell the teachers. Anywhere, even in class.
It can happen when you play.
Yes. Sorry? Seated. For example, when this is a boy, it can happen when the teacher is teaching. From me I'm learning seriously, and the boy can do like this. And so that you stop disturbing me. And when teacher comes, the teacher will not say that, Rita, I saw you talking to this one. The teacher will beat all of you. The teacher will not say that only you.
It's Amandu Dennis. Amandu Dennis. Okay. I'm in P5.
I'm going to talk about bad touches. Other times when the boys touches the girls, even though the girls also feel good, you can lose concentration with the teachers. When the teacher is teaching, you are not understanding.
Yes, that's a good point.
Like last year in this school, I was with some people, but they left. They went P7. I will not say their names. It was at 4. We were here. I saw there were my friends. There were 2 girls and 2 boys. They told me, you come and escort us. Even me, they were my friend. I couldn't refuse. I escorted them. We went there in barracks. We went to some boy's house. He was also a pupil. Then when we went to that place, the boy used to stay with his friend, like his uncle, but the uncle was not there. He had left. So they put on music. They started dancing, bad dances. But for me, when I was outside, they told me stay outside. Now when I tried to enter, they told me, do you also want to dance? And I said, no, me, I don't want. Now when they were dancing, they said, let's switch off the light. And the house, it was so dark inside.
Meanwhile, the teaching staff at Naguru Katali Primary School fear that most of the violence against children are a result of the environment in which they live.
Sometimes the children are left alone to manage the home in the absence of both parents, because one divorced and one is working very far. And you find children sometimes don't come to school. 9-10 years is sleeping alone in the house because the mother is not there and the father works away. So it is a big problem.
Most of these children are not staying with their biological parents. They are staying with the guardians. And these guardians get these children when they know that they are going to look after them, which is not very, very accurately done.
As I came in here, one difference I found with Kampala schools, as you think about them, okay? Kampala schools begin on the first day. But in this school, until the 3rd week when you realize the full number of all the children. That's one challenge, as she has mentioned. Secondly, in terms of now protection along the school now, wherever you are passing now, you will see they can pass and go, they can pass and go.
One of it, the major thing is poverty. One colleague said that for them, they are always, I think the people who are taking care of these children, they consider them last. You find that they come from the same homes, but the parents decide to take their own to schools first, and they don't study in the same schools. They look for the cheapest school. That's where they will take these ones. But before they clear for the other ones and give all the scholastic materials, they cannot begin with these ones who are dependents. Then also, you find that even if it is payment, the parent will decide to pay for school fees, clear his children first. Then this one is the one whom they will say, remain at home.
Which is abusing some of these children so much. I had 3 children in my class this year, and they are actually all the 3 I'm talking about are girls. They are living, 2 are living with relatives, but 1 was living with a biological mother and a father. But this is a girl who is I can say is abused most. When I investigated, I realized the major problem was alcoholism. The father is a teacher also like us. He's teaching in a private school. But this is the gentleman who has abandoned all the responsibility to a wife who is just helpless. So the children come to school with that bitterness sometimes when they come when they are hungry, they have slept hungry. They can't settle in class. Some of them, when the parents fight because they are drunk, they can even keep off for 2-3 days off from school. I had a boy in my class last year who was ever coming late, and there were 2. He was a girl and a boy. But every time that girl was coming, the boy was coming earlier than the girl. Then I asked the girl that why is it that your brother is ever early in class and you are always coming late? She told me that, you know what, my mother is in the village and daddy tells me before I leave home, I first have to wash plates, I first have to fetch water. I
also had children, a boy and a girl, one time who are coming from the same home. That is still last year. But the girl was charged with the responsibility of dropping all the children going. They had 3 children going to nursery, but three different nursery schools. So the earliest time that girl could reach school was 9, and yet she was in primary 7. The boy was in primary 6, but the boy could even reach here before 7.
We have seen some parents, when these children are not performing to their expectations, they give up and say that since you're not getting the marks I want, you're not performing the way I expect you to perform, I'll not pay for your school fees.
The parent who did this was even a policeman. This policeman beat the boy. That the boy had gone to fetch water and delayed to play and came back late. This is the gentleman who got to the wire and caned the boy badly. And even on top of caning him, he denied him even supper. So the boy came the following day, very miserable, lying in class. Then we were asking him, what is wrong with you? With you? Why are you not active? Then the boy said, the friends were the ones he had told the friends. The friends said that teacher is in pain, the back is paining him.
That treatment affects the children so much in class, because sometimes these children end up even fearing us teachers. Because they imagine that you'll also handle him or her the way he's being handled at home. You find that they are never free even in the class. Even if a child knows something, will not talk.
A rapist.
A rapist.
And he knew what he was talking?
He knew.
Yes. So now when teacher Lanyero told me, I said, Kalyango, come. Do you have sisters? Said, yes, I have them. Now, in case you hear that your sister has been raped, how do you feel? I feel very bad. Now, why do you want to do it to others? Then he remained quiet. In fact, Kalyango left school, I think, after some months.
He did complete.
He did complete.
What?
Videos. That is another major one. And the dancing halls. The dancing halls. You find the girls here, they are going to tell you, teacher so and so is in the dancing group of Kasenke. There is a dance they used to talk to, I even don't know the name. I asked them, how do you dance? We put on short skirts and we go and dance almost naked. Now, primary children. And actually, that time, when we inquired, they told us one of the members of the LOC was the one over recruiting them.
These traditions reflect customs of care and behavior based on age, lifestyle, gender, and social class. Nevertheless, these children and teachers gave solutions to the problems they go through.
As I said, menstruation period. To avoid this, to avoid this is by providing pads. To make sure that every month the pads are provided, they are given to the girls who are going through that period. And the other thing is they should also arrest the people who abuse children's rights.
Parents should always provide children with basic needs like books, pens for school. When you know it is about school, the term is about to begin for school, you should inform the boss that he needs to pay you salary quickly, so that you also pay for your child school fees in time and buy.
In case children face violence at home, they can go to the police nearby and tell them. Or at school, there are senior women teachers. For example, when that child facing violence is a girl, she can go and tell to the senior woman teacher. Should not send the girls to buy things at night. 5. And I said that to prevent giving you medicine or what, you should help those children who are not bright and encourage them to read books. Avoiding defilement. This is my solution, that parents should stop sending children at night, that you can buy for me this one or this. They should stop it now to avoid defiling the children. Another way how to prevent defilement in children don't have to go alone at school. Like when it's a long distance from home and school, the parent should escort the child at school.
And if you fear to open within here, you can come and see us individually and tell us. So one of the girls came and said, "Teacher, when you talked there, I feared to say it, but I have been the husband to my mother has slept on me like 3 times." I said, "The husband of your mother, is he not your dad?" That no. My mother got married somewhere again. She left my dad, and me, I'm staying with my aunt. Now my aunt sometimes sends me there to get some money, but if I don't find my mother, the man sleeps on me. Because such a thing needs police. And that girl, up to now, even when you look at her, she feels bad. So I told her, "Don't feel bad, be my friend." PSA messages are read. PSA messages are read, and even as like women, senior women and some ladies, we talk to these children. Periodically, we talk to them.
These abuses can be eradicated, although the communities in which they are committed might be hostile and not willing to cooperate, especially local leaders, parents, and guardians. The legal system also needs to clearly empower the communities to set up courts that handle cases of child abuse and violence against children, and at the same time strengthen local leadership to eradicate such social mischief.